because it's going to be a very different message he can give to the people who are actually in power than he gave on the campaign trail. Sunlen, thank you very much. All right, let's discuss the big meeting and the protests with our panel. CNN political analyst, Daily Beast Washington bureau chief, Jackie Kucinich, political editor of TheRoot.com and professor of political science at Morgan State University, Jason Johnson, and Washington Post reporter Abby Phillip. This is going to be some test, Professor, of President Obama's ability to swallow the personal in favor of patriotism. He's known for this, but Donald Trump is the face of the resistance. He wasn't born here. Obama's not one of us, the otherism. Now, as president-elect, how does he regard him?
Look, I think Obama is at his core a patriot. He loves this country. I think he means it when he says, look, we are all hoping for the best here. We really need this to go well. I know a lot of my Democratic friends they're angry and they want to see them fail. No, I think President Obama has a vested interest in this country and will want to see Trump do well, even despite all the personal despicable things that Trump might have said about him.
Jackie, there's so much bad blood. I mean, Jason is probably right. Of course, President Obama hopes for the best for the country. But what are the optics today? Do you see at the front door, or whatever the equivalent is at the White House, Mrs. Obama and President Obama, you know, extending their arms and welcoming in Trump, or is it all sort of more shrouded behind the scenes?
I mean, I don't think they're going to hug or anything, but I think this is President Obama knows that this is the peaceful transfer of power. This is a long tradition. It's the important tradition. So I think out in the open, it's going to look a little weird because they don't really like each other. But I think they're going to do their best to, make a good presentation. Behind the scenes, it'll be awkward. But I don't think they're going to start, raging and pointing at each other or anything.
Yeah, Abby, how is Washington processing this kind of collective fiction that we're all participating in right now, that Donald Trump may not be who he told us he was every day of this campaign? You got to give him a shot. He won. That's the mandate. But the man versus the mandate, how's it being processed down there?
Well, I mean, for a lot of people in this town, this is the very first time they are contemplating this scenario. A couple months ago, talking to folks about the transition, I talked to some people in D.C. who said absolutely no one here is planning for a Donald Trump presidency, except for perhaps Chris Christie. And so now we're going to see what that looks like. And I think for the most part, people are not sure what to believe, because remember, in the primary, Donald Trump would say one thing one day and then another thing the next. So there is no sort of statement of record for Trump on a lot of things that he has said he is going to do, and the main questions will be when he has an opportunity, what will he say about his real priorities in government, and what will those be that other Republicans can also sign up for, because I don't know that many Republicans are really that supportive of many of the policy priorities that Donald Trump has expressed in the campaign.
Jason, one last note about this meeting today, because I know that you think that what goes on behind the scenes might be different than the public facade.
Right.
From what you know about President Obama, do you think that he take this opportunity for one moment to sort of express his displeasure and what he lived through with all the birtherism stuff that came out of Donald Trump?
I think President Obama is perfectly capable of finger wagging. And I think, like I said before, I think it's going to be in the context of, you could do it to me, but I'm telling you, you have a wide, diverse country. If you take this same attitude, it's not going to work. And I'll also say this. In addition to the meeting between President Obama and President-elect Trump, I just wonder what Melania and Michelle is going to be like. Like, that, too, strikes me as a very interesting conversation, because Melania didn't have an active role in this campaign, but she's going to have an active role as First Lady. And it'll be interesting if she is more receptive to advice than her husband.
Well, and we know that Melania's a fan of Michelle Obama.
Of her writing.
And that was one of the problems with that campaign, that they just didn't handle well. That wasn't about Melania wanting a copy of speech. That was about them setting her up to fail. So how is he going to populate this government? This is one of our favorite parlor games. And now a couple of interesting things that come up. Kellyanne Conway, obviously the woman in charge there, she speaks as a political operative. You probably don't see her going on the governmental side, but other than her, Haven't heard any women's names. And you got a piece in the Daily Beast today about a layer of immediate resistance to staffing that they have to deal with. What is it?
It's national security and the intelligence community. Kim Dozier and Shane Harris at the Daily Beast wrote this piece, and they have national security and intelligence officials saying that they're not going to work for Donald Trump. Not only that, during the primary and during the general election, you had a lot of these people that are the foremost experts in their field signing public letters saying that he's unfit, he shouldn't be president, and I'm not going to work for him. So and he shouldn't be in office to begin with. So they immediately are going to have trouble staffing up some of the most important agencies when it comes to national security and keeping America safe right at the get-go. And perhaps that means they're going to have less experienced people that are filling those positions, but it's going to be interesting to see how they square that. And they're calling people and they're just saying no, we're not going to work for you.
Abby, one note about the protests: there are pockets of protests. These are not nationwide protests. These are places where
in Clinton territory.
These are in Clinton territory. These are places where
also known as big cities,
where Hillary Clinton won. And look, everybody wants people to express themselves peacefully, but clearly it's going to take people a while to process what happened on Tuesday. What do you think of what we're seeing in these pockets?
Yeah, I think it's letting some of the steam out of the pressure cooker, and I think that it's necessary for people to express themselves and express how they feel about the election. That's actually also part of the democratic process. In addition to going to the ballot box, it's the ability to protest peacefully. So I think all of that is to be expected. I think that the Trump campaign is watching it closely. They're aware that this is a dynamic that is going to exist. And to some extent, if they're smart, and I think we actually saw Donald Trump doing a little bit of this on Tuesday, they recognize that he cannot continue to antagonize the country as president. That is not that is not his mandate as the leader of the free world. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see more steps taken from inside Trump world, contrary to the sort of ethos of his entire campaign, to really do more to ease people's worries and concerns, because those worries are very real in this country. The exit polling shows, over 50% of the country, including a lot of Trump supporters, are scared or anxious about what his presidency would bring.
Okay, panel, thank you very much. As the sun rises over the Capitol there, in the symbolism of a new day, thank you very much.
And also,